As Russian drones prowl overhead, an elite Ukrainian fighting unit desperately races to evacuate wounded soldiers. In past wars, medics operated on a simple formula. They had 60 minutes to get the wounded to advanced care. The so-called golden hour, the best chance of survival. But here in Ukraine, the ever-present enemy drones over the battlefield make fast evacuations impossible.
There is no term such a golden hour in our war.
What's the longest you've seen someone have to wait?
57 days.
What?
Yeah, 2 months.
We report from near the front lines on the medics of Azov, one of Ukraine's most feared and famous fighting forces, as killer drones compel them to reimagine and re-engineer battlefield medicine.
The Ukrainian combat medics is the rock stars of world combat medicine.
We have dozens of casualties who were saved by drone blood delivery.
Flying blood banks, robot stretcher bearers. It's a game of innovate or die. And combat medicine may never be the same again. A drone zeroes in on a soldier signaling from a trench. But that's not a killer drone. It's a lifeline.
This is how they do one of these blood deliveries. It's from a secret location. It'll travel around 15 miles to get there. They take the blood, wrap it in bubble wrap, tape it up, and then send it on its way.
Azov drone pilot Natin once dropped only bombs to deliver death. Now he has the power to deliver life.
Ми працюємо заради тих, хто стоїть, скажімо, на нулі. Безпосередньо приймає на себе оцей весь важкий груз війни.
When you're delivering blood to someone who needs it, is there a risk that you're giving up their position by sending the drone there?
Так, звісно, є така можливість. Розкажу з цього кейсу, як ми вже робили, тобто...
It was a desperate moment. A soldier hit in the neck by shrapnel, bleeding out in a trench. Russian hunter-killer drones making evacuation impossible. Every attempt to reach the wounded man had failed. Every failed rescue attempt adding to the casualty count.
We lost a few cars by trying to evacuate him.
So Azov medical officer call sign Rena decided this was the moment for her novel plan. To send in life-saving blood by drone to a frontline medic for an unprecedented trench transfusion. Natin was the drone pilot.
І спаковували, щоб вони не розбились, і доставляли. Люди, які на позиціях, вони слухали, чи є ворожі борти в небі, щоб ми могли розуміти момент, коли ми маємо це скинути. Йому провели трансфузію прямо безпосередньо на нулі в бліндажі. І після цього, вже як стемніло, вдалося його евакуювати.
And he was your first survivor with blood from a drone?
Yes. And now this boy is in rehabilitation. He would be back in our brigade after, I think, a few months.
Revolutionizing frontline medicine in the age of drone warfare is Rena's answer to the tyranny of the golden hour. The awful knowledge that has tormented combat medics for generations, that if you can't get a casualty to advanced medical care in 60 minutes, you've likely failed.
The world hasn't got this problem before. We need to be really creative to solve this problem.
Ukraine has made itself famous for innovation when it comes to weapons. Are you guys as fast when it comes to innovation with medicine?
I think sometimes we're even faster. It's my main project in life.
I think this is just extraordinary. You're having to send blood to the front line.
Unfortunately, yes, we need to do that. We started to do it only a few months ago, just because now logistics is fully paralyzed. Firstly, we need to completely understand if this casualty needs blood or not.
If it's worth the risk.
Yes.
Got it.
Because we also can compromise the position we are sending the blood by drones.
Братанчик, ти як?
It makes blood as important as bullets. Ukraine's blood banks, with this innovation, now critical to frontline medicine logistics. But by protocol, these precious supplies should go first to hospitals. Azov has convinced them to hand this most precious supply directly to Azov's combat medics. So dire the need for blood and blood products here, soldiers donate on their days off. A local police officer and his wife come here together every few weeks. This facility near the front line in the Donetsk region is where Azov comes to get blood for their drone missions. On this day, one of the unit's surgical anesthesiologists makes the Azov blood runs. To make sure the blood does not spoil before reaching the battlefield, she carries a repurposed battery-powered cooler.
It's for beer. It's for beer. I'm just really proud of it just because it cost only $200. American one costs around $4,000. They just maintain a normal temperature. We have tested them a lot, and it's small and not heavy.
And that's what you use to transport the blood?
Surely.
You now have units that, in their trenches, they've got refrigerators for blood.
We have blood refrigerators on casualty collection points.
Casualty collection points, trenches along the front line, are where the injured are brought to wait, sometimes for hours, sometimes for days. That's because the drone killing zone now stretches more than 10 miles from the zero line.
Kramatorsk is right on the edge of the deadly drone zone, all along this highway that leads to the front lines. Bizarre-looking reminders of the danger ahead. Desperate makeshift attempts to reduce the risk of fiery death.
Regular ambulances, clearly marked, easily spotted, are a priority target for Russian Predator drones. So Azov has come up with yet another solution, tricked-out SUVs.
When they get the chance to do an evacuation, they use vehicles like these, robust four-wheel drive Toyota Land Cruisers. You couldn't send a regular ambulance anywhere near the front line. They'd be too big of targets. They don't move fast enough. And so now they're souping these up with life-saving equipment.
Oxygen, ventilators, warmers for the blood for transfusions.
Heater.
The improvised medevacs meet NATO standards. Azov medics, call signs Ryder and Brennick, drive the daring evacuation missions, all the way hunted by Russian drones from above to target combat medics.
Гемокон кров'ю.
A trip so dangerous, they carry extra blood in case they need it for themselves.
Sometimes you, the medics, you become casualties yourselves, right?
Зазвичай ти про це не думаєш. В тебе є задача, яку треба виконувати. Ну, якщо ми будемо думати про те, робота, буде страждати твій настрій, твій психоемоційний стан. Тому, коли у нас є задача, у нас є поранені, ми працюємо.
When you finally are able to get to someone and they've been out there for hours and hours or days, do you get an emotional reaction from them?
Ну, звісно, зазвичай це радість. Як тільки вони бачать цю машину, вони розуміють, що скоро вони опиняться в госпіталі, їм нададуть уже допомогу.
But first, the Azov medevac takes them from the bunker to what's called a stabilization point. The 4x4s, gunning it, typically get there in 20 minutes. This is a stabilization point we were able to report from back before attack drones made it too dangerous. Now, most are underground. But deploying doctors to them is a dangerous journey.
They have to stay there for a while.
Yeah, surely, like for 1 or 2 weeks. We're trying to rotate them as usually as we can, just because we really care about their mental state.
For casualties, the next step to survival is a hospital just beyond the drone zone, an advanced trauma facility.
Inside the trauma hospital closest to the sector's front line, one doctor starkly told us, for most critically injured soldiers, the golden hour for emergency surgeries passes long before they arrive.
A surgeon tells me they do what they can here, battling infections and amputating limbs that were in a tourniquet so long they needed to go. In some cases, a limb might still be saved, But that requires a specialist with more advanced equipment, hundreds of miles away. Outside the drone zone, we're able to ride along as a more conventional ambulance transfers one of Azov's soldiers on yet another step in the unit's reinvention of combat medicine. On this day, it's a 27-year-old Azov fighter, call sign Robotic, who stepped on a landmine while being chased by a Russian drone. He and two other wounded comrades finally evacuated together.
Товар красний. Понадобилося, щоб з других позицій нам допомогу прийшли бійці. І тому що дуже багато знову теж таких дронів.
Were you in a lot of pain?
Yes, of course.
Are you going to get to keep your foot?
Probably surgeons will decide how to do that trick.
Svitanik, an anesthesiologist, monitors his vital signs and does what he can to ease the pain.
How long did it take for him to get to a stabilization point?
For this guy, it was like 7 hours.
7 hours.
Yeah, but it's not so long like other guys could have a much longer time.
This is insanity.
Like, yeah, it's very different type of medical service that are described in your books. It's totally different.
Такі вже, коротше, були картинки.
Головне, якщо ти позитивна людина, то, як правило, все позитивно.
That hope will take Robotic from that trench on the Eastern Front 800 miles to a hospital in Lviv in far western Ukraine. Later, I would receive messages from the wounded soldier. I had to give up the idea of saving the limb, he wrote. I'm learning not to fall, either in spirit or body. As for his plans for the future, I will do some useful things. Maybe, he says, piloting unmanned systems, like the drones and other technologies that maim and kill, but that also now save lives. If Ukraine is the world's laboratory for combat medicine in the drone age, this is what innovation looks like under the microscope. That small dot, a Ukrainian unmanned ground vehicle, UGV, also known as a ground drone, crawling toward the zero line. It's on a first-of-its-kind rescue mission, a remarkable advance in combat medicine. That mission is what brought us here, to Ukraine's 92nd Assault Brigade and the unit that executed the near-impossible robotic mission. With 3 wounded comrades stranded for weeks, surrounded by the Russians, killer drones hunting overhead, they would navigate a ground drone to evacuate the wounded.
Це було дуже важко, дуже тяжко.
The commander of that groundbreaking mission, call sign Fix.
2 з них були в тяжкому стані. Один був легкий стан поранення. Понад 40 діб вже були поранені на позиції знаходилися. І поруч з ними, з наших військ, не було нікого.
Their only hope to reach combat medics, the Ardel drone, named after the mythological god symbolizing strength and ingenuity. It moves slowly, top speed less than 8 miles an hour, but importantly, also very quietly.
The Ardel drone's got a camera on the front of it. It's got the treads, so it's able to go through rough terrain, but what's going on in here is incredibly important. They need a strong signal so that they're able to navigate over very rough terrain on the battlefield.
Yet that first real-world attempt to use the Ardel to save the stranded soldiers would initially fail. As it made its way across the battlefield, it rolled over a landmine and blew up. When the dying soldiers received the devastating news, the Ardel's lead designer, Viktor Dolhopyatov, at the Ukrainian Miltech company Burovy, was in the command bunker.
After the first one failed, they were losing hope.
Yes.
They wanted suicide.
Not suicide. They say that we must bombing their place and kill them.
Killing their own soldiers? Not an option. They would try again.
For 2 days, we prepared another Ardel and make second try.
They wanted the men to know exactly what to do if the Ardel managed to reach them. So the rescue team sent a note by flying a Mavic drone.
We deliver a piece of paper with later what they need to do when drone came to the evacuation place.
This time, the Ardel reached the wounded. But the danger was far from over.
Ти дуже сильно починаєш нервувати, бо ти переживаєш не за той дрон, стаєш відповідальний за життя, яке ти наразі рятуєш.
During the 6-mile return across treacherous terrain, 3 wounded soldiers on board, the Russians spotted the ground drone.
Did they try to target it?
Так, вони бачили цей дрон. Було більше 6 розривів поруч з самим дроном.
But they weren't able to hit it.
Ні, були поруч, але не попали. Скажімо так, що просто пощастило.
Скажи, як садяться в машину, бо я думаю, що далі повезуть.
Mission complete.
Це були обійми, сльози. Були дуже вдячні тому, що ми зробили.
The mission didn't just save lives. It revealed a critical feature needed for future rescues.
Ми їм пропонували як покращення влаштування туди мікрофону та динаміку, якщо під час евакуації тримати постійний зв'язок з пораненим, щоб він виконував саме ті інструкції, які ми йому надаємо.
That suggestion taken.
He also wanted a rear-facing camera.
Yeah, maybe in 1 month we will be install a second cam in all our dolls.
Victor won't say how many they've produced or plan to, but they're constantly adapting their invention.
Дожити до перемоги. Да і термін життя дрону зараз в середньому, нехай буде тиждень, це вже чудово.
The Ukrainian military now runs multiple ground drone rescue missions every week. But the harsh reality, the enemy targets them and the wounded soldiers they carry. We're not told how many Ukrainian soldiers have been killed by Russian attacks while being towed by the Ardals.
На даний момент фідбеків багато, факапів. Це початкова стадія війни роботів. Непоганий дрон, він потребує ще доволі багато роботи над тим, щоб стати більш інтелектуальним, більш автономним.
What's the biggest engineering challenge you're still trying to solve?
Too much challenges, really. Too much challenges. На даний момент час грає проти нас.
Time that Ukraine is constantly striving to bend to its will to stretch the chances of survival. It's late at night and a rare moment of calm here in the cramped apartment where Azov's medical leaders live and plan. Rina, the medical planning officer, a biology teacher before joining the army, triages resources.
It's almost 10 p.m. Are you always working so late?
In Ukrainian, we call it narada, meeting.
They're waiting for the next call from the trenches. Their boys, among the most fierce Ukrainian units, are in the thick of the fight, less than 20 miles away. We got rare access to these pioneers of Azov's medical revolution.
How long have you all worked together?
From 2023.
All identified only by their call signs.
Евакуації можуть відбуватись не отак.
Myth, a radiologist before the war, now leads Azov's medical service.
Навіть якщо ми все сплануємо, все може піти не за планом. Вся логістика – це дуже важко зараз.
During evacuations, Myth stays in constant contact with recon units, watching for signs of a Russian strike on the wounded. If an attack is coming, he must make the difficult call to abort. Along with Myth are others who form the backbone of the team.
And now you're teaching soldiers.
Jedi is one of them. A former infantryman now leading Azov's medical training program.
Good training soldier is very expensive, but not trained soldier, it's freaking expensive. По-моєму, це прям ваш варіант.
Adaptation is critical in this war that constantly evolves, including in how Azov prepares their next generation of combat medics.
Як ця штука працює? Була знову...
The students here, they're already medics, but they're getting advanced training for how to use some of the new tools and techniques that are being deployed to the battlefield for situations when they may need to keep someone alive for an indefinite period of time.
Among the methods they're pioneering, extreme pain management, previously considered too advanced for the trenches.
We go on a next step and now have experiment with getting IO to the soldier's level.
IO, or intraosseous, delivering pain meds through the bone when veins collapse by drilling in a needle and then connecting an IV. and they're trying a risky maneuver called tourniquet conversion, used only when evacuation is delayed by hours or days. A soldier places another tourniquet lower down on the limb and then loosens or removes the one above it in hope of making the future amputation less severe. Among the new recruits, 26-year-old Lula, who's headed to the front lines.
You'll be learning how to do blood transfusions.
Yeah, this is like super important on the field. Most common cause of death is massive bleeding.
But you're going to be sent into some dangerous situations.
I mean, that's fine if that is what it takes to save lives. I don't think that there could be something more fulfilling.
What's the most important thing that you're teaching them?
Teaching to understand that they need these knowledges, and it will grow up their chances to get back home alive.
Have you had any of your students survive because they had those skills?
A lot of our students already dead. So that's why we understand our mission. How we will train him, the thing he will do in worst day of his life.
The level of acceptable risk here for patients and medics alike speaks to the harsh reality of this war. When the alternative is certain death, all ideas, no matter how dangerous, are on the table. The techniques they pioneer are being watched by militaries around the world, and all paid for in Ukrainian blood.